and tab colors, merge and center, orientation, row height, free space, count ifs and sum if and others. So these are the only topics that you must look out for regarding spreadsheet. Right, now let's start with the first question for 2024 question paper. So I'm going to open Q3 playlist or player stats 2024. So you can see in most cases, spreadsheet will be one question. In most cases, spreadsheet will be one question. Microsoft Word can be even up to 3 questions. So it takes a lot of marks also. Now, the first question says, rename the sheet 1 to player ID. Now, what do you mean by sheet 1? You will see the sheet tabs here. Sheet 1, graph sheet, and sponsor sheet. So if you are asked to rename, you double click, and then they say you must rename to player ID. So I think that is all that the question told us to do. We have to rename to player ID. And then also now change the tab color of the player ID to blue. So here's player ID, you right click, and then you see tab color. Then you choose the blue color. Let me delete Microsoft Word. It's giving me. Right. Then the next question says, merge and center cell A1 to L3 and insert the heading player, add a yellow shading to the merge cell. Right. Still under the sheet tab. They can tell you to rename. They can also tell you to move or copy, duplicate, or hide a particular tab. So you see hide here. When you right click, you see them. They can also ask you to move or copy to a new worksheet or new workbook. Then you select the workbook you are moving to. Either this one or a new workbook. They can ask you to that. They can also ask you to move to the end so that the player ID will be moved to the end. So that's how we change that. Now, the question again tells us to do something here. Merge and center A1 to L1. This is A1. We are still working in a player ID. So we don't see A1. Yeah, it's A1 to L1. So you select A1 up until L1. Then to merge and center, you right click. You will see format cell. And then you find alignment, we have merge cell. Or alternatively, when you select, you can go to search and say merge. And it's going to give you merge and center. Very simple. You select it, go to tell me what to do, or you can also find it here. This is merge and center. And then the question says again, we must insert the heading players. So you type players. And then it says add a yellow shading to the merge cell. We have to add a yellow shading. So when you select, you can get a shading here. Or if they're asking for a pattern style, you select, you go to search, and then you type shading. Or you can just say border. Then it's going to give you borders and shading. Borders and shading. If it doesn't give you, sometimes when you are typing borders and shading, which gives you the error Then you choose more borders. So that it's going to give you borders and shading. You will see fill with a fill color or pattern style color. So grade 10, they can ask you to change the pattern style and the pattern color, not the normal filling. Fill effect is mostly grade 11 if they are asking you to choose two colors, which is mostly grade 11 content, not grade 10. So you must watch out for that. Right, that's how we fill. They can ask you to put also a border around it. To put a border, you can also just go there and say border, the same place, border. Then you go to the arrow next to the border, and then you go to more borders so that you'll be able to put a particular border around it. Don't forget to select the color if the question says so, and outline. So that's how we put a border around a merge cell. Right, let's check the next question. Change the row height of row 4 to 40. This is row 4. So you right click on number 4, you see row height, and then you type 40. That's how we change the row height. Now, the next question says, use a spreadsheet feature to number the players in column A from 1 up until 24. We want to number from 1 up until 24. We use what we call autofill. So you type 1 and then 2. Then, or you can just type 1. Put a mouse pointer here at the bottom there. This is what we call the autofill handle. Double click. It's going to number 1111 for you. Then you see autofill option. Then you say fill series. So you see here, it doesn't want to do. Let's pick one only. Then autofill option, fill series. So that to number 1, 2, 3 up until 24. That's how we use the autofill. If they want you to number from 2, 4, 6, we type 2 and then you type 4. Then you select both, put the autofill here, double click. It's going to make it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in intervals of 2. Right. Again, they can ask you to make sure that everything is visible. Now, visible meaning that you choose what you call the wrap text. Wrap text. Now, they can ask you to change the direction of the text. Now, from the alignment group, you will see an arrow that is pointing upward, which is AB. We call it the orientation. We have the counterclockwise. We also have angle clockwise. You have rotate up. So you must watch out for that type of question. You can see a screenshot like this. They use this one, AB, which is the orientation. If you don't find a particular orientation, you go to format cell, and then you'll be able to change the orientation angle here, whether 45 degrees or negative 45. Now, if they say center vertically and horizontally, use this one. This is middle, and this one is horizontal center. Right. Let's check other questions also. Hide column C. Column C is hidden, and hide the column. So C is hidden. This one is C. And hide, which is between B and D. So you select B and D, you right click and choose and hide so that you'll find column C. Then column G displays hashtag. Rectify it. Hashtag means it is too narrow. So meaning that you must widen column G. You put the mouse pointer in between G and H, that line over there, you double click, then it's going to widen them for you properly. And then again, insert a function in N4 to display today's date. Now, before that, let me go to freeze pane. Let's say we want from 1 up until 4 to be locked, so that when you scroll down, you always see 1 to 4. Then you go to the next one, which is 5. and then you select what you call freeze pane. Then you choose freeze pane, and then you freeze the pane. So that when you scroll down, 1 up until 4 will still remain. The rest will be hidden. We call it freeze pane. Now let's go to the calculations. So basically, that is all that you need to know regarding this moving sheet, renaming, tab colors, and others. Merge, and then applying shading, orientation, row height and column width, freeze pane, autofill. These are the things you must know. Right. Then we go to calculations like count ifs, sum ifs, and graphs. We will start with the first one. The first question says, insert a function in N4 to display today's date. So where is our N4? Here's N4. Today's date, we use a function called today. So you press equal sign, you start typing today. It's going to give you double click on FX, and then you press enter. That will give you today's date. Now, sometime after inserting today's date, they will ask you to change the format of today's date. So to format it, you right click and choose format cell. Then you go to number format and you choose custom. Then you can now type the format that you want. Let's say they want it to be DD space DDD dash YYYY slash MMMM. They will give you the format, then you type that format there. Right, DD means the day in short. If you put 4D, it will be the day in full, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then if you put 4Y, it will be the year in full. So that is how we change the formatting. Right. The next question also says, change the formatting of column J to be the same as K. Now let's check J. J is this one. And then K. They want the formatting to be the same. That means it should be rand symbol. Now, it means we have to make this one currency. You select all the column J, and then from the number format, you choose currency, so that it will also be currency. Right, the next one says, rename the range B5 up until B28 to player name. So where do we find B5? Here is B5 up until B28. So you select B5 to B28. To rename, you right click and then you choose define name. Then you give it a name. The question said the name should be player name. Then you type the player name. That means we are giving that particular cell or that column as player name. Right. Apply rep text to column or H4. H4 is this one. So you click on rep text. And then insert a formula in L5 to determine the difference between 2024 and 2023 net. The difference means minus. So we want the difference between 2024 and 2025. So you press equal sign. You click on the 2024 value, this one, minus 2023 value, and you press enter. Now, hashtag means it's too narrow. We have to widen it. Right. The next question. Insert a formula in P5 to determine the total percentage of male, hint, use building block provided. Now, percentage in B5. Yes, P5. We want total percentage of male. Now, meaning that we have to count how many males using female, count if. We have to know how many males are here. Now, if you know the number of males, because there's a condition, we have to use count if. Let's check if there is a building block. If there's no building block, you must start solving your question step by step next to where the answer is supposed to be. So we have to use count if to determine how many males are available. We go to equal sign, count if. Then you click on FX. Now, because the question says we need to calculate how many male, we have to select the range where we find the male and female, which is column D. So you select all the various gender. And then now the question says we have to find the number of males. Because we are looking for the percentage of male, we need to get the number, then we divide by the total. So here we are looking for male. You don't need to type male. You can type male in full, or you can use wildcard by saying you pick the first three letters. You say star, M-A, star, or M-A. Okay, if you use that, because female and male is going to create a problem for you. So you just type male in full, because female also contain M-A-L-E. So we got 10 male with a count if. Now, when you are done, you must find the total. The total, we use counter. Counter. If you want to find the total, that's all of them, we use counter. Then you click on FX. Then you select all the values under gender. You select all of them. So we got 24. So the total is 24. And then the number of males are 10. So we need to find percentage. So the percentage will now be equal sign the number of males, which is 10, divided by the total, which is 24. So with this, when you press enter, it's going to give you fraction. And then we need to change the fraction into percentage. You go to the number format, you see percentage, you click on it. So it will be 42%. So first of all, you find the number of males by using count if. And then we find the total number by using counter. Then you come here and say equal sign, the value for the male divided by the total, which will give you fraction. Then you change it to percentage. So that's the total percentage of males. Now the next one is talking about more than 500 games won. Now, where are the games won? Here are the games won, column G. We want to find how many got more than 500 games won, because there's a criteria that's saying more than 500 won. So this is the question. It says, calculate in P7 how many players won more than 500 games. Use a function. Because there's a criteria, we use what we call count if. Count with a criteria. So here we go there and use count if. Equal sign, count if. When you start typing, you see count if, double click on it. Click on FX. Now the range, you select all the values under games won, which is column G. And then the criteria, more than meaning greater than 500. When they say more than, we use greater than. Less than, we use the less than symbol. So it's going to be this count if G5 up until G28 greater than 500. This one is the criteria. And then we got 39. So 39 games got more than that got more than 500. Right. count if from G5 up to this. And then the next question says, insert a function in P9 to determine who lost column, that's column H, the most matches. Now the most meaning we use mode. The most can be highest also, but if you see most frequently occurring, when you see most frequently occurring is mode. When you see most, that means it's max, the one who got more, which is max. So most games lost. Let's check. These are the games lost. So they won the highest. Now the most games lost, we are going to use the function called max, the highest. Equal sign max. Then you select games lost. And then you press enter. So the most games lost is 9769 Now, average rating of all the players. Determine the average rating of all the players. Use a function to round it off to one decimal place. Now, average for all the players, and then you round it off. Now, to solve that question, you have to solve it next to where you need to put the answer, and then we use a function called average. Now the question says average rating. Then you click on FX. The number, you select the ratings. You select the ratings. The number, you select the ratings. Right, and then you click OK. So we got this average with so many decimal places. Then they say it should be to one decimal place. So the function to round it to one decimal place, we use round function. So you now say equal sign round. You double click on round, and then you click on FX. So where it says number, you click on your answer. Then the number of digits is 1. Because the question says it should be one decimal place, then you click OK. So whenever you have average question, then they ask you to round it. Solve the question somewhere, then you use the round function to round it to the number of decimal places. Right, now the next question. Use a function in P13 to determine how many players did not submit their language preference in column F. Did not submit the language preference in column F. That means they gave empty. Column F, how many gave empty? Now, to get empty spaces, we use a function called count blank. Count blank. Then you select the values in column F. And then you press enter. So it's going to give you the blank spaces, which is 5. So to count the blank spaces, we use count blank, average, and then most games, max. Least games, if they were asking about least games, we use min. Equal sign min. Double click on that, and then you select the values. And we press enter. So the minimum value was 14. Right. They can equally ask you a question to also generate random numbers. Let's say you want to generate random numbers between 0 and 12 or 1 to 10. We use a function called range between. Range between. So the bottom will be 0 and then the top will be 10. Then okay. So range between 0 and 10. So it can give 0. When you double click and press enter, it gives you 5. So it's going to generate numbers from 0 up until 10. Right. So basically, these are the functions you need to know. Count blank, counter, mode. Mode is most frequently occurring. We saw today, and then min, average, and then also formatting to decimal places. VAT increase percentage calculations, we saw it. Then discount. And the random number between 0 and 1, we use rand. If it's a rand, it's going to give you random number between 0 and 1, which is decimal places. Then also, that function called mode, most frequently occurring, we use mode. Mode, which one occurs most? So let's say which one occurs most here. Which values occurred most? We use mode. So we got NA because we did not get any value that appear more than once. So that's why it's NA. Let's say we were having another one that appear more than one, then that answer will be here. Right. Lastly, regarding spreadsheet will be graphs. That's the chart and graphs. Now let's look at the chart from this question. 3.18, you were given a chart. They say you must modify the chart as you can see over there. Now, the title and others. So we have to use that one to deal with that chart. The graph was created. And now the question wants us, it's a games lost. So we have to use the games lost one. That's this one. So we need to change this. They were already created for us. So to modify, you right click. Whenever you are dealing with graphs, you right click. Let's check the type of graph. Okay, the values were not there. So when you select them, you click on the chart element, this one. Then you see data labels so that they will be there. And then the highest one must have filled with the red color. So you click on the highest twice, 1, 2. So that to select only that one, you right click and you see fill, then you choose the red color. So that one will be filled with red color. Sometimes they can tell you to also fill with a picture like this one. You right click twice, fill, and then you choose picture. Then you can select a picture to fill in. Right. Now that picture is not filled in properly. You right click and then you choose format data point. So it opens here for you. Then you go to fill, then you tick stack instead of stretch so that it will be stacked in a smaller point for you. Right. They can also ask you to vary by colors with different colors. You tick this one. You right click, then you go to the fill, and then it's going to choose vary colors. Again, the title, there was no title. So when you select it, you click on the chart element, then you see chart title. Then you can type the title, which is game lost. Then again, the X and Y axis, this is total, and this is names. So we need to insert it. So you choose axis title. Then we can now type the total. And here we type names. Right. Again, the instruction, the next instruction, fill the fill color of the highest, like we saw it, for 5 marks. Now, there's also another thing regarding graph that you must take note. Sometimes they can put a legend. When you click there, you go there, you see legend. Then to choose where you must put the legend, whether right or top or left, the question will tell you, or the bottom. Right. So that's how we put the legend. Then we also have the trend line. If you want to put a trend line, we can choose linear trend line. That will be a line. Or we can put 2 period or exponential. So the question will tell you what kind of trend line you must place. Now, with this graph also, we can change them. Let's say the highest must be at the beginning. When you select them, you right-click and choose Format Data Series. Now, it gives you the series option. It gives you this one, and it gives you the fill path. Right. Now, if you want to swap them, you see these values with the names here. When you click on it, it's going to give you another one, which is the directions and alignment. And it's going to also give you this one, which is called the exit options. Then you choose categories in reverse order, so that the highest will be the beginning and then the lowest or the other one will be the other side. You take this one, categories in reverse order. Now, if you want to put this one on top also, when you click on it, it will give you that option. You go to the alignment, then you take it to, you can place it the way they are rotated. You can change the rotation. Right, so watch out for some of these things. They can ask you, what if they want you to change it to also pie chart? When you right click, you can see change chart type, and then you choose pie chart if you want it to be in pie chart format, and okay, so that to be in pie chart. Now with the pie chart, remember pie chart is in percentages. So when you go to data labels, then the pie chart, you must go to more options, and then you choose percentage, so that to be percentage. We can also show the category name and then the series name. They can ask you to do that. Right. Then they can ask you to pull out the biggest option, the biggest percentage. Let's say the biggest percentage is 10%, this one, or 11%. You want to pull out. You click on it twice, and then you drag it to pull it out. Again, you can right-click and fill in with any color or maybe gradient or texture, which the question can tell you to do that. Now, what if they want us to rotate it so that this one must be somewhere here? When you click on it, you will see angle of first slice. Then you keep on rotating it so it changes to that position for you. So that's how we rotate the slice also. So you must watch out for some of these things regarding spreadsheet. Right. The last part of spreadsheet, it says work in the sponsor worksheet. Correct the error indicated in E3. So this is the sponsor worksheet. E3, they said there's an error there. Now the formula says total. We don't have any function called total, so it's supposed to be sum. So you just say sum, and you press enter. So it was supposed to be sum, not total. Again, insert the file name, right, align as a field in the header. Now, like I said, you look for field. Here you won't find them. You have to go to header first. So you type header. Now, when it opens the header for you, you'll see the file name, file path, sheet name, current time, current date. They can ask you like that. So file name, and the question says should be on the right. So you must click on the right side and choose file name. Right. Now, if you want to go out of this one, then you come to this one here, which says the normal view. Then you can now see the normal view. If you want to see it properly, again, you go here to page layout. That's where you see the file name and then the normal view. Right, next question. Now use a function in C12 to determine how many players receive a sponsor. Anytime you see how many, meaning count. Whenever you see how many means count. If you see total, meaning you add, which is sum. So C12, how many? So we are going to count, equal sign, count, and then you select the values and press enter. So we got 6. And then also ensure that when this worksheet is printed, the gray lines will also be printed. So the gray line must also be printed. You go to the page layout, and then you see gray lines, you say print. You take it. They can also ask you to print the headings, then you take print. They can ask you to change the titles. They can ask you to set the print area. To set the print area, you select them where you want to print, and then you go to print area, then you say set print area. You can change the orientation also from page layout. So you must watch out for that. Then the last question says, make sure that the date of birth column displays like the screenshot. Now you can see Sunday in bracket minus, and then the June, the month. So when you have the, it means the day was written like 3D in bracket, and then they put dash, and then the month was in full. So M4 times. So that's how it's supposed to be. Now let's look at it. These are the one you select. You right click and choose format cells. Then you go to custom, then you change it here. So we are going to custom it. You open bracket, DDD, you close it. If you are changing, you see it to give you a sample. Dash, you open bracket, MMMM, and then okay. So that is how they wanted us to modify it to be like that. So basically, that is all about spreadsheet. We have covered every topic here. Rent between calculations, percentage increase. If they wanted to increase it by a certain percentage, and vet like the total amount. If they wanted to increase this total amount by 10%, it's going to be equals to, you open bracket, 100 plus 10, because the original percentage is 100%. So if you are increasing by 10%, you say equals to, you open bracket, 100 plus 10, then you put a percentage times the total amount, enter. So this will be 10% increase of every amount. Now, if they are talking about percentage decrease or VAT, discount, if they were having discount of 10%, then it's going to be equals to, you open bracket, equals to, you open bracket, 100 minus discount, you subtract minus 10, then you put a percentage times the value given to you here. So this one, they gave 10% discount. So that's how we calculate the discount. You subtract 10 from it, you put a percentage symbol, then you say times the value given to you. Right. So this is all about spreadsheet. This is all about spreadsheet. Yeah, please, I will send the link again, you will get them. Now, let's finalize it. I will send the link again, or this video, below this video, you get all these papers. Then you'll be able to, yeah, some people are saying I must slow down, please, because the video will be is being recorded, and then you get access to it to watch over and over. So I think I must beat up the time. You watch again also later. Right. Now, let's move straight to HTML, and then we finalize with PowerPoint.